We're entering the time of year where we get silly, fun shows because we get closer to summer. They stop being as serious. Obviously, we're waiting for Miami to come back. But in the meantime, what about a little dating show with the housewives?
I feel like when it first was announced, it had the potential to really annoy me. But after watching this first episode and all the lead up for the last couple of weeks, I've done a complete 180. I am just happy to watch this show. It's just delightful.
It is. It really is.
I gotta have me my bros and shows. Bros and shows. Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Bros and Shows. I'm your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by Love Ho Goots.
Yep.
You little hoe.
Kind of saw that one coming. Look, like we said in the intro, this is just a fun show. It's going to be a good time. I thought that it had the potential to, mix it up a little bit. Maybe there's a couple of women fighting over a guy, and that could still happen, but I don't see it getting very serious, even with the likes of Shannon and Luann in there.
Exactly. And the cast they put together for it is way better than I had expected. I was excited that this was the cast. Like, I like everybody on the show. But the dynamic of these four women is fucking hilarious because you kind of get every end of the spectrum here. Well, you got Gizelle, who's going to give it back to the dude. She's going to press them, which is fucking hilarious. You got Luann, who is always down to date multiple people. She's going to bop around. You got Ashley, who is the romantic, love drunk, all that kind of shit, going to dive in too quickly. And you got Shannon, who's a fish out of water. Like, it's so funny that they covered every single ground here. I love this show. It falls into the crappy lake category for me, where it's just funny. Definitely. It's fun. And you can also tell, and I like it about this show, they're not there for love. No one's there to fall in love. It's let's date, let's boink a little bit, let's have a good time, and let's get the fuck out of here. Like, it's perfect.
Yeah, and I like that we can see these women outside of their respective shows too. Now, obviously, Luann doesn't have a show right now, but the other three do have shows, and Ashley was the one that kind of stood out to me beforehand. I'm like, how is this going to really work? And for whatever reason, it does work. She actually fits in perfectly because she is looking for that guy in like the 45 and older range. Like 45 to 50 is probably where Ashley wants to be. And I think she's going to find that, obviously. Now there's some other people mixed in there, but it still works. The age group isn't too thrown off. It's not like we've got three guys in there in their 30s just to appease Ashley and Luann. Obviously, lower 20s would probably be Luann's speed, but we'll throw them in there fine.
Kind of the Joe Bradley age, somewhere in there.
Yeah, somewhere in there. It's unfortunate that we have to use Joe Bradley as the barometer for that, but
sorry, Joe.
It's a good age. So yeah, I really thought that Ashley could be the one that stood out. Like, what are you doing here? She said something very early on that I'm like, God damn it, Ashley, why do you do this to me? When she called Josh a civilian, I'm like, come on.
Oh yeah.
What is this? We're not doing this.
And like, that's the other reason I'm not taking this shit too seriously. We have seen since this show, Ashley's been out with Josh. I think they're still together. I don't know if they took a break for this. I don't know if it falls under they seem to have some kind of relationship parameters. It seems like a very progressive relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, there might be some other people, like Wale might get invited to and Josh and Ashley. That's kind of
one of those.
I don't know. I think it's kind of like a open door policy.
I think that you have a different air about you when it comes to discussing relationships and all of the labels, if you will. I think that after our talk last week, you've got it. We're in a good place.
Don't patronize me. I think that you got it. I explained to you what my issue was. You didn't explain me shit. But let's jump in to Love Hotel, and you get the intro from our very good friend Joel Kim Booster, from our stint on Watch What Happens Live, and he gives the rundown. I'm getting like a little bit of a White Lotus vibe they're trying to do in the beginning, like the pool, and then the music.
Let's hope not. Let's hope not.
Well, no, not like, I mean the location.
Somebody's gonna die.
Yeah. Breaking news.
A fucking murder mystery.
Fucking Earl's dead. No, it's gonna be just like the music and the intro gave me that kind of vibe. But
actually, that gives me a good idea. Why don't the housewives, because we are so tired of like the games that they force on us at dinners all the time that end up terribly. Some of them are funny. Most of them end up horribly. Why don't we do a murder mystery? I feel like that would actually be kind of fun because then you can get people going back. I'm just imagining the cast of Atlanta in a murder mystery because they would just all start yelling at each other like, I would actually kill you in real life, but you're alive here. Like, that's how that would go.
Or like if you put it on Salt Lake, someone would get
Dude,
pissed
Salt
off
Lake,
that
they
you
would,
murdered them. Like, why would you kill me?
This has to be deeper.
Yeah. What do you mean by you murdered me? Do you really want to murder me? Like, if you put it on each respective show, you'd have very different murder mysteries. That's a trademark.
What was that?
Copyright.
Okay. Yeah.
Game night with Bravo. And you do things like that. Stick them in a house for a murder mystery. Do like different games with housewives and shit. And just Bravo Lebs. That would be a funny show.
That could work.
That's
a good summer show. That's a really good summer show.
Right? Murder mystery with the...
Now, the problem that we always run into with these is you do have to pay these people, and they're not really willing to pay these people a lot more than they're already making. So
because these people, they all want so much fucking money. Like, just take the vacation and film a show for like a little bit less for our benefit. You selfish bastards. But anyway, everyone's arriving. The best part about this for us is that we know the backstories, but I do like that they lay them out for us. Like Ashley, I'm in the middle of a divorce. I'm 36. I've been dating. I got Luke, Josh, quote unquote, didn't work out. I don't believe that for a second, but I don't really care either. Gizelle arrives, looks fantastic, by the way, and describes her previous relationships and the Jamal recap, obviously. And now she's an empty nester with all the kids at school. So she's looking to get out there and mix it up. I don't find Gizelle looking for anything serious in a place like this. I think that she's here for
not
fun.
At all. I think that's what we're going to see in Potomac in the next couple of seasons, probably the next two, is Gizelle kind of getting out there a little bit more, dating a little bit more seriously. And she might find somebody that just works with her and what she wants to do with her life. Not on a show like this, but again, it doesn't seem like they're taking it too seriously. And every conversation that they have, it seems like Shannon's the only one that you're really going to have to break down and be like, hey, this is okay. Hey, Shannon, we don't have to talk about your DUI. We don't have to do this. We can just get into it and you can date multiple people. It's not that serious. She's like, no. Look, she's like, no, I need to fall in love right now.
It's different for like Luann's used to mixing it up. Like that's why it's funny that you have all these different types of people trying to navigate this, because you have two of them that are like, this is fucking funny, this is fun. Luann and Gizelle, like we're gonna have a good time. You got Shannon, who's doesn't know what she's doing, and then you got Ashley, who's gonna inadvertently fall in love by accident and then be like, oh, it's too much, and like she's the romantic,
most likely. Yeah, after the first episode, I could easily see that happening. The other thing that we do have to keep in mind, and we as the collective, the royal we of the Bros and Shows fans,
yes, the royal we,
keep in mind what the fuck happens with Shannon this season, because if you remember, Joel Kim Booster went on a tirade about how terrible she was and then had to reel it back in and issue an apology on Instagram. So just keep an eye on that. We have to figure out what happens, and if nothing happens, then it all goes back to JKB, because what are we doing here?
It was the rap party, right? And he got fucking hammered, and at like 2 a.m. started going off on Shannon Storm's Bador on his Instagram story. And then, he did have to reel it back in. So I'm paying close attention to that storyline, like where it went wrong. And I'm sure that there was a moment with her that was like ridiculous. I don't think that he went off for no reason. We've seen Shannon, we've heard stories about Shannon, so I'm sure that there's something there, but I am like locked in on that to try to figure out, okay, when did it happen? What happened? What did she say?
For sure.
So we're going to keep an eye on that. But Luann arrives, and I love Luann because her backstory is so fast, because she doesn't give it. She's like, married twice, divorced twice. Let's move on. And Shannon, who's been single for a year, obviously all of her shit going on. But let's get to the first meeting.
No mention of Johnny J, by the way, which I was happy about.
We don't need to talk about him. If he came up, it would ruin the show. Maybe the producer's like, hey, we're not talking about John Jansen. Okay, don't bring him up. I just don't bring him up. If I hear it once, I'm going to be like, fuck, no, we're over him. But they lay out the rules here. It's a tailor-made experience for you ladies. We're here to fall in love. All these dudes are hung like Bolo. Shout out Bolo. I got a stable of stallions, baby. And I love the group of dudes. I
was worried it was just going to be these like hot. There are a couple of hot 60-year-old men there, but I was worried
silver foxes,
all
baby.
It was going to be. We need a good mix, and we got a great mix. It seems like they all have a good personality. They're all very different, which I love. They all got different things. They've got different backstories. You get a little touching moment here and there. There's one dude that just surfs all the time.
Gerry.
Love that. Yep.
Gerry in
Big
Puerto
time.
Rico.
Love that. So I think the best way to approach this is give me, and with no particular woman, but give me
Okay.
your top 3. Who do you like the most here? Who do you think is going to be the eye candy for the whole season?
The eye candy's Ralph.
Eye candy's Ralph for sure.
Ralph's
He's number
the eye
one.
candy.
Number
He's,
one on the big board.
Distinguished older gentleman, like tall, handsome, tall, dark, and handsome. Everything you want. Wale. I like him. He's obviously a handsome
but
fella.
Wale's pigeonholed. Wale is just going to be with Ashley.
Pigeonholed to Ashley.
Unless Luann starts to drift off a little bit, which
she
could
very
happen.
well might.
She's going to be the wild card for sure. So
she's going to be the one
to
fuck up other people's relationships on the show, and I'm cool with that. And I could definitely see her gravitating towards a Wale. I think that's like within her range of like, ooh, younger, hotter dude. Okay.
I do personally. I think that Wale and Ashley are just going to be. It's just going to be them. Like, yeah, Ashley's going to go on other dates, but I do think that it's pretty much always going to come back to Wale with Ashley, and that's okay. I'm good with that because that just eliminates one person off the board, and it's the person that isn't in the same age group as everyone else. So we can just get that out of the way immediately. Like, all right, Ashley, you go have fun. Enjoy your couple of weeks here with Wale. We'll be over here focusing on the shitstorm that's going to pop off with these 3.
I think that's going to be kind of the end because Wale, he's locked in on Ashley as well. Like they're both kind of zeroed in. But my big 3 would be Wale, and this could be recency bias for sure because this is who we got the most of. But Wale, Ralph, and Earl won me over.
Earl the Pearl.
Earl the Pearl, I was like, this dude's going to be a creep, which is on me, judging a book by his cover. He was not. So Earl the Pearl won me over. I think that those are my big 3. How about you?
I'm going to pop out Wale and put in, I like Gerry a lot.
Gerry's going to be, so there's,
he's not going to be around long, I don't think. I think he's just in and out.
Well, I don't know what the
Jay
rules
is
are.
cool. Actually, no, I'm going to put Jay in there. I'm going to put Jay in there actually because based on this first episode, I had him pegged immediately like, oh, he's going to go after Gizelle. If that doesn't work out, he's kind of done, I think. But after watching this episode, I'm like, it doesn't seem like there's a ton of chemistry there. Let's see how he rebounds. Let's see what happens. Yep. Let's just get into that. So I like Jay a lot too. So I'll put Jay in instead of Gerry.
Okay. All right. I like that. I think the interesting thing when you get like older dudes and just older dating in general, it makes me laugh because like there's less filters. People say more outlandish shit to each other because you're just at that point in your life. It's like, why are we going to tiptoe? Like, let's just fucking get it out there. So like, that's what I love about when you have an older dating pool is they say the most random shit, but
which is Shannon sitting with Earl talking about that. Like, oh, were you married before? Was she in her 20s?
Oh, dude, that was brutal. But before we get to that one, you get Luann talking to Gerry and Jeff, boat talk, which is, pretty standard for this group of dudes. I would imagine most of them probably have boats. None of them know the housewives. None of them even have TVs, which I'm like, oh, they're those guys, that drives me nuts. Like, I don't even watch TV.
They either don't have TV or they don't watch TV. Like, that real estate broker. Was that Gerry? No, Jerry's the retired car.
No, I think that he was talking about like a finance broker. That's Andy Cohen.
Andy Cohen, the broker?
The broker? What firm does he work at?
No, whoever said that was a real estate broker. That was...
I thought
the other
he was
one
like a finance broker.
That's the vibe I got. Estate broker on his thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. There you go. I didn't see that.
The vibe you got? You didn't read the... Oh, yeah.
I don't. When people are talking, I write. That's like usually what I listen and write. So I miss some things. But you get Shannon talking to Ralph. He's got 2 kids, 10 and 11. He's the handsome, edgy older gentleman. You got Ashley talking to Nicholas, who I do not like. Nicholas gives me the heebie-jeebies a little bit.
The further we got into this episode, the less I liked him. He creeped me out.
He's got
it started off with the earring up here. The little diamond studded earring. Not a big fan.
I don't really care about the earrings as much as just the
it's
overall
coupled with the way he talks. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, fair. But you got Gizelle talking to Jay. This is why Giselle's going to be so funny because he's like, I got divorced. She's like, what did you do? He's like, what do I do? No, what did you do? Why did you fuck that up? I'm like, she's going to press all these dudes. And the one that's going to win.
She said something after too. She's like, so is that where you were locked up, Houston? Like she wants somebody. Remember from Potomac, she wants somebody who was in jail before.
She likes bad boys. She said that. And she also is like, if you're going to keep up with Gizelle, you got to be able to take it and give it. Like that's what she's looking for, is somebody that can take the jokes and also provide the jokes. But Luann, and this is how I've figured this out, since there's like so many back and forths, is I put asterisks next to like the big ones I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Luann with Gerry and Jeff. So I believe Jeff has 5 kids, married 12 years. Gerry lives in Puerto Rico. He surfs every day, all day. And what I love Luann, because she's like, all right, boys, I'm going to get a drink. I'll be right back. And she ditches them to go talk to Phil.
Yep.
So Luann's already playing the game. That's when you get Ashley and Wale. And Wale came into this with an agenda. He's locked in on Ashley. He's 38. He just got out of a 5-year relationship. Just didn't work out. Brings up healing and therapy, which is right up Ashley's alley. He's done his research. He knows what that was not
saying all the right
not
things.
A shot in the dark. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Well, they did pose, somebody posed the question. I think it was one of the women, maybe Gizelle asked the whole group, did you know who was going to be on this show before you guys got here? And everybody said no. Wale absolutely knew that Ashley was going to be on the show.
She was going to be there. Yeah, come on now. But Shannon and Earl, let's get back to that, because holy shit. You know, because when he started talking about dating apps, I'm like, here we fucking go. He's talking about bots and this and that and the other. I'm like, this guy's going to be gross. So I did the same thing Shannon did. And I feel bad for that, because this dude walked in wearing gaiters with eyes on them. He's got polka dot socks on. He's got that bead necklace hanging, which I finally figured out is their microphone. So I take that away. Like that's because Nicholas had it on later. I'm like, oh, that's the mic necklace.
Yeah, Wale had it on the next day too. Yeah.
Because originally I'm like, oh, that's a douchey necklace. And I'm like,
that's a fuck, what was that crazy Netflix show? Temptation Island.
Shell?
They all had those crazy necklaces on them. Like, those are lame as hell. But then they were microphones. They were still lame because those guys sucked. But
you see him on Bravo a lot. Bravo just has like the black tab off the black necklace. Those are all microphones. So gave him a pass for that. But as she's talking to him, he's like, I've been married twice. You know, the first one's for 1.5 years. And she's like, oh, I bet she was in her 20s. Tell me she's in her 20s. And he's like, yeah, my second wife, I was madly in love with. She got leukemia twice and died. And I was jaw on the floor. And Shannon doesn't even know how to reel it back in. She's like, oh, my God. Wow.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Like, what do you say to that? And like, he's the opposite of what I thought. He's like, she taught me what love was. And like, when she got sick the second time, I learned what unconditional love is. And I just want that feeling back. And I'm like, Earl the Pearl's just a big romantic. And I'm over here saying he's a creepy dating app guy. And that's
this
my
man
fault
is looking for real love.
And Shannon, what the fuck?
I mean, that's kind of what you expect from Shannon.
That was the thing, though. It's like, yeah, that's an awful. He took it really well. He handled it well.
He did. Yeah.
But like, it was the most Shannon moment ever. Like, all right, back in the dating pool. Oh, your 20-year-old wife? No, my dead wife. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. And that's probably what she's used to. She probably does go on, like, every once in a while, she'll go on a date out in LA or an OC. And that's what she's used to talking about or hearing about or whatever it might be. But I do feel like I get the vibe from Shannon where she probably overheard Gizelle making snarky comments like, oh, what did you do wrong in that? Yeah. And she's like, I can do that too. What about this? You were married to somebody in their 20s? No, my wife had leukemia twice. Oh, well, I'm never going to do that again.
Stay in your lane, Shannon. Do what you do. Don't do what Gizelle does. No, because that's the thing. If Gizelle had done that, she would have been able to backtrack out of it in like a smooth way. Shannon's just like, ha, 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 ha. Shit.
Well, no, I feel so bad and I have to go on a date with you.
I have to invite you on a date and pretend like I like your shoes. But Gizelle gets some time with Wale. And I feel like Giselle's going to be more of a wing woman. Her only real shot here is if she finds some dude attractive, feels like having a fun night, or if somebody like just kind of randomly catches her interest out of nowhere. Yeah. I don't. Other than that, I feel like she's going to take on
Phil maybe stepping into that role.
Perhaps.
I don't know. We didn't see a lot, and typically the way that these shows go, you know, we get the. I don't want to call them heavy hitters, but we get probably the most charismatic guys out of the way first. We hear about them in the first episode. They're the ones who step up. They're the ones who go right to each woman and they have a story and they've got a personality. And it's like, all right, let's go out on a date. And if it doesn't work out, then we've got a next, you know, group starts to rise to the surface. So I feel like that next group is going to be the most important group after these first dates that we're going to talk about in a little bit. And I feel like Phil could be rolling in there. I don't know. I got a vibe from him.
Yeah, I can see that too. But as they're chit-chatting, you know, he wants kids. So immediately she's like, all right, I'm out. Because one, I don't have a uterus. And two, I'm not having any more kids. So
yeah.
But she likes him. She liked his vibe. She liked his energy. So that's good because she's going to talk him up to Ashley. So that bodes well for Wale, who's in this conversation, goes to a confessional. And he's like, yeah, I'm solely focused on Ashley. Like Giselle's fine, but it's Ashley or bust is what he
Yeah,
says.
and he also knows the way to get to Ashley is probably through Gizelle. Let me
100%.
charm Gizelle, and then she'll put in a good word.
Again, Wale did his research. He knows what he's doing. He came in with a plan, and so far, he's executing that plan well. But JKB rolls in. We got one-on-ones tomorrow. We're doing a Sadie Hawkins. So you got to go ask your date for a one-on-one date tomorrow. And then you get a split scene of the dudes with the ladies. The dudes don't really say much. It's just you're going to see a rivalry emerge between Nicholas and Wale, because Nicholas is also dead set on Ashley. I don't think Nicholas stands a chance against Wale, personally.
No, probably not.
But it will be fun to see him flounder and try. While the ladies are talking, the Earl the Pearl thing comes up. Shannon tells everyone what's going on. But she likes Ralph as well. I think everyone gives a resounding Ralph's number one in the group as of this moment. The most eye candy, at least. While that's happening, Earl the Pearl brings Shannon a drink. I thought that was a good move. It's a good move.
Lovely move.
Well done,
Way to
Earl.
win her over.
Yep. And Luann, she's in on Gerry. She wants to see what Gerry's all about. I don't think they're compatible out of the gate, but
I don't. Out of the gate, I thought they might have been, because he seems way more free spirited, which is what Luann's probably going to be looking for. But afterwards, obviously on the one-on-one date, it's like, nope, nothing there. But that's I think what appealed to her. She's like, oh, he surfs all the time. He just moved to Puerto Rico on a whim. I love that. Down on an island. That sounds nice to me. Let's see what this guy's about. And yeah, once we figure that out, we're like, nope,
just not Luann's cup of tea. But Giselle's big on Roy. Who's Roy? Jay. Jay is Roy. I like Jay too. Jay's up there for me as well. And I left him out of my original 3, but he's very close number 4. I think Jay's got a bright future ahead of him on this show. But everybody gets together. Wale slides right in on Ashley. Skirt, like sits right next to her on the couch. Gizelle, power move. I love this move. She goes to bed. See you boys tomorrow.
Yep.
Walk off. Watch me walk away, then think of me tonight. That's like what she's doing. It's a great fucking move. So Giselle's playing really well. Wale and Ashley are immediately. Like, I feel like Wale is exactly Ashley's speed. Like, I think they're on the same wavelength.
Yep.
And this goes back to my point of dating, like when you get older, because they're talking about, oh, we got to jump in the pool post-workout after you do our hip thrusts. I'm like, Jesus, that's forward. Like,
again, very Ashley.
And I know. So, like, is he a huge Potomac fan? Do you think he watches the series, or do you think he did his homework?
I think he did his homework, probably. I think in a confessional, he said he watched one episode of a housewife show and they were all fighting all the time, which
that's what they all say. That's what all dudes say.
Yeah. But I think he probably did his research. But again, this is so Ashley speed. And that's the type of thing where Ashley will make a comment like that. And I'll be like, oh, God, why do we do this? Why are we always talking about this? But if he's going to match her energy, I'm like, oh, that's good. Good. This is a completely different show. Why not?
Exactly. And I think it allows me also. And I will say Ashley had a good year on Potomac, which made me like her more than I have in years past. And I think a lot of that has to do with the lack of Michael Darby on the show.
Yeah, that's for sure.
This is the perfect spot for me to really like Ashley, because it's not going to affect the group dynamic. We're not going to talk about stupid shit we don't need to talk about. It's just dating and her getting into situations. So, like, I think this is the perfect role for her. So I'm actually excited to see what she does this season. But morning after, Ashley and Wale work out, and if she makes those sounds in public gyms, I really hope that that's not how she works out publicly, because she's making sex sounds while they're working out. They're doing like a circuit together, and she's like, I'm like, whoa, whoa. People don't do that when they're working out.
No, I'm pretty sure that gym was empty for production reasons. So
I hope so. I hope so. If I was training somebody in the morning and I heard that at the gym, I would be like, ew.
No.
In here?
I have a wife. Leave me alone.
Yeah, this is gross. Giselle asks Jay. Yes, obviously. Luann asks Gerry. Yes, obviously. And Shannon, who is awkward as fuck, asks Earl, and Earl says yes. So we got our dates set up, and it gets a little confusing here because they just jump around from date to date.
Let's just do date by date.
I'm gonna have to go page by page, but we will do date by date, was what I was thinking. So we'll start out with Jay and Gizelle, who do a little tequila tasting. And we just talked about gold-plated food yesterday.
We did.
A gold taco for $25,000. If you
I don't believe
buy,
that.
I don't either. Maybe
what else? I know it was like A5 Where it was like Kobe
A5
beef,
Wagyu. It's
A5
A5
Wagyu.
Wagyu, which is fucking phenomenal. It's
Yeah.
lobster and caviar and gold flakes.
Yeah.
So yes, an
No.
expensive taco, but if you buy a $25,000 taco or any kind of food, you're a fucking asshole. If anyone buys this, if you're listening and you bought food that cost a single food item over $1,000, you're an idiot. I love you, but you're an idiot. There's no reason to do that. The
How
taco
much
would
is
taste
the
just as
Meredith
good.
Marks caviar?
I don't know, actually. We should order
Whatever,
some.
it's over 1,000.
We should do a tasting of Meredith Marks caviar on
I don't think
Pringles.
I've ever had caviar. Maybe
Really?
I have once. Yeah.
It's
Maybe once.
I believe it's I don't mind it. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I think it's wildly overrated. I think it's one of those things you're like, I'm fancy. I'm eating caviar. I
Yeah,
don't
that
think
sounds
it's like
right.
that
Yeah.
good. But yeah, some people swear by it. I don't know. It's fine, I guess. But as these two are talking, let me find Gizelle and Jay. Yeah. She lays out kind of what she's looking for, which is the same shit that we've heard. She wants somebody outgoing, somebody that can match her energy with that's sexually proficient.
Mhm.
My favorite thing about Gizelle in any dating scenario, and honestly, pretty much every housewife that we see that's getting back into the dating pool post-divorce or whatever, they always make a sex comment.
Oh, yeah.
Every single dude that hears that goes, I got it. You're with the right guy then. It's like
It's sort of the same thing as
statistically,
like
it doesn't make sense.
it's the same thing as everybody putting that they're proficient in Excel on their
Right.
resumes. Everybody does it. Everybody says that they are. Every dude says that they're proficient in sex. Doesn't mean they are. What
No,
she probably means is like compatible. You know, that's probably a
No,
better
I
way to
think
put that.
I think she means like you need to be good in bed or I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be compatibility too? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, but I also don't think
Feel
she's
like
actually looking for love here. I think she just, wants to have
Yeah,
some
that's fair.
fun.
Maybe
I was
she
more
does.
pointing out it makes me laugh that every guy's like, "Ah, yeah, that's my
Yeah, I
best
got that.
thing is sex."
Why do you think
That's
I'm
me.
here?
Yeah, let me show you. Like, it
Yeah.
just makes me laugh because statistically, no, you're all not good at it. But hey, whatever.
Yeah.
Gizelle likes Jay. He's a nice fella, but she's like, "Do I want to bang him or just get to know him? He's a little bit boring." And you know what? Nah, she's not into him. It's pretty evident right out of the gate. So she's
Back
going
to
to
the
move on
pool.
to the next one. Back to the dating pool. So let's get to Luann and Gerry. They're doing oyster and caviar tasting in a gigantic clamshell because, who wouldn't want to do that?
Very Little Mermaid. Yep.
Yep. And as they're talking, this is where I was like, ooh, you got a shot, Jer, because
Yep.
Jerry's retired, lives in Puerto Rico, which means he's probably got a little cash, He might have a house back in the mainland. I don't really know.
I think he was from New York. Yeah.
So like that matched up well because I'm like, all right, well, she loves to bop around. She does her cabaret thing. Like she's not someone that's going to sit at home and just hang out with you and plant things. And he's like, I love planting and I'm a big homebody. I'm like, well, you're out.
Yep. See you later. Thanks
Which is,
for playing, Jer.
especially, and this is why Luann's great because she's like, you know what? Let's just test it just in case. And she gives him a smooch. I could feel the lack of chemistry. I was like, ooh.
Yeah. That was the picture that I used for questions today was Luann looking off in the distance after that kiss. And Gerry like, I did good, right?
I nailed it.
No.
And like the way he was weirdly trying to touch her and then he'd stop touching her. I'm like, this is awkward. I don't like this. Yeah. So on to the next one, Luann, which is what we want. We don't want anybody settling down too fast. That wouldn't be fun at all. So let's get to Wale and Ashley, who are probably going to settle down. They're doing cacao and chocolate making classes.
Mm-hmm.
And the minute that she walks up in her dress, Wale's like, I don't want to be Ashley's friend no more. Like, I'm all in. I'm all in on Ashley. It
These
appears
days
that
got
she's
less and less fancy as we went on, by the way. Started at $25,000 tacos, which, you know what? I'm not paying for it, but I would eat it. Then we moved to oysters and champagne in a big seashell. Kind of cool. On the beach. Love that. In Cabo. Why not? Now we're doing chocolate classes, and the last one is just wine and cheese. It's like we just completely stepped down the ladder here.
Yeah, slowly but surely. Then, because the wine and cheese is like in the bar area.
What if they got to pick? They probably got to pick. Each housewife got to pick, I'm sure.
You think? I don't know.
I think so. Yeah.
That'd be interesting. I don't know.
They all kind of seem their speed, and then Shannon's is just like, yeah, that's wine and cheese. Sure. Yeah, I'll take that.
I don't really care. I don't know what I'm doing.
Ashley's is more of an activity. Yeah, I'm fully convinced that they got to pick.
Okay, it makes sense to me now that you laid it out like that. Yeah. But Wale and Ashley, why they click and why they're going to work, at least for the duration of this show, is because both of them are going to go too hard too fast.
Yeah.
Because they're doing the bean thing And if you like peel the cacao bean without breaking the cacao bean, it's like, oh, that's good luck for marriage. And he's like, oh, I did come into the show talking about marriage. And she's like, oh my goodness. They're both going to fall for that one. And it's going to just push them so much further, so much faster, which we see at the end of this episode. But I like them together. I think it's a funny duo.
It works. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm down.
I could see the two of them just kind of shacking up, and then obviously Ashley having input on the other conversations, and maybe even Wale getting mixed up. Like, oh, what did you think about that guy, Gizelle?
Yeah.
And just kind of like talking to her about it. So I can see that working.
And I'm cool with that, honestly.
Oh,
I know
for
I don't
sure.
want to like couple off one out of only 4, but I'm actually okay with it. With this,
The entertainment value of the other 3 dating is way better than the entertainment value of watching Ashley continue to date.
I think so too. I think it's actually the best spot for her is to not be bopping around and kind of be coupled up.
Yeah.
So we can watch the other 3 just wreak havoc and Shannon struggle to talk without being awkward. It's going to be, that's the perfect setup. But let's get to Shannon and Earl. I guess he started by talking about his losing his wife, but that was also in response to her being mean about it.
Yeah.
But he opened the door to like, let's talk about real shit. And she starts immediately going over the last year, the DUI recap. I'm like, whoa, okay. Like we're really getting into this shit out of the gate. But I wrote down, I was like, Earl takes it pretty well. He's like, life's a learning experience. In his confessional, he's like, hey, I'm really glad that she was open and vulnerable. And they're even holding hands at the bar. I'm like, oh, these two are kind of cute, right? They're little cute. I'm actually okay with it. But that wraps up the dates and everyone kind of meets at the bar, which is even better. And I'm curious if this is like, we see scenes from after at the end of this episode, it's like scenes from the season. Dudes do start getting upset.
Yeah.
And I like that immediately after dates, it's right back to the group. So then you have to watch the woman you just went on a date with go talk to like 7 other guys, which is hilarious. I think most, I guess I can't make that statement. I think a lot of the guys are going to be cool. I think Nicholas is going to be a fucking nightmare with this whole thing.
He's going to be so weird. And when he showed up at this after party thing was when it solidified, like, oh, you're a bizarre guy. Like, I already started off with the earring. Then he took his sleeves off and he's got these like little niche tattoos, like the tiny tattoos that you see on like a girl that lives in Brooklyn. Sorry, I'm
or
just
like a barista
putting them out there. Yeah, same thing. Yeah, lives in Brooklyn. So yeah, like that's sort of what I expected from him. I just don't want to see much more of him. He creeps me out. Definitely creeps me out.
There's something about him where I'm like, I don't. Why are you wearing a tank top, sir?
Yeah,
put on like a nice shirt. God damn it!
You're supposed to be impressing people.
You're too casual. But the problem is, and I knew this was going to happen. Ashley's like, I'm intrigued. I'm like, of course you are. Of course.
She has to be, though. Look, I think it's 50-50 for me on if she's actually intrigued, because I could easily see Ashley being like, yeah, you know what? He's my age. He's the age range that I want to be with. He's interesting. I want to see where this goes. Also, it is a TV show, so she could be playing it up as we've seen before. So,
which I'm
could go either way for me.
Up. Yeah. I also think there's a big part of it where it's like, remember who she was married to, right? Like she married Michael Darby, so her spectrum of whom she wants to date is a very wide net. And we've seen that on the show as well with Josh. Like we've seen a lot of different characters that she's been into. So Nicholas weirdly fits the bill because he is kind of strange. He is intriguing. Very wide bill. It is, but like, doesn't it make sense that like Ashley of all people would see him and be like,
yeah,
maybe, perhaps.
I kind of want to see him, and I love that. Like we're just making this judgment on this guy after one episode, but I'd love to see him try to hit on Luann. And then have Luann just knock him down. Like, here, weirdo, get away.
But that's what's so good about having Luann, having Gizelle, is most of these guys cannot contend with them. I truly don't think they can. They can't hang. And like, that's going to be whoever's going to be able to give it and take it is going to be who's going to be able to spit some game to those two. I think Ralph, again.
Ralph was the star of this after party. Everybody wanted a piece of Ralph.
Everybody was talking to Ralph. He talked to Gizelle, and Gizelle was like, hold up. Didn't think I was into Ralph, but I might be into Ralph. I'm like, hell yeah. All right. We got some Ralph movement, but guess what? Shannon is into Ralph. everyone's in. Ralph's gonna be the Captain Jason of Love Hotel.
Yeah, he is.
From what it
Yeah.
looks like at this
Yeah,
moment.
he
But
threw on those glasses too in the after party, just looking
I
good.
know he looks good. He's a
Yep.
handsome guy. But Wale loved the move, hated the follow through. The afterthought didn't land quite as well. But Wale hops up because Ashley's gonna go to bed. He's like, "Hey, can I walk you to your room?" So steals her from Nicholas, which I like that because now Nicholas feels some type of way. And she's like, "Yes, hard yes, like yes, let's
Hard
go."
yes. Yep.
So they're walking. She's in the confessional, like, "Ooh, like I see how he's looking at me. Like I know what this is going. He's gonna kiss me." And we get to the room, and god damn it, I was like, "Oh no, dude!"
Yeah.
Like the awkward ass out hug, like "Good night." I'm like, "Why do you think she said walk me back to my room, dude? What was that?" And the minute she gets back in, she's like, "Fucking kiss me, bro." And he's walking down the hallway, like, "God damn it, what am I
So
doing?
stupid, Wale. Come on.
You dumbass, Wale. Come on,
Give himself a little pep talk.
Wale." No, that's all I was thinking about every time I said his name was Wale songs. But he walks back to the room. I did appreciate it. I again don't think it landed quite as well, but he made up some lost ground. He knocks on the
feel like
door.
it
She opens the
worked.
door.
I
It
feel
did
like it
work.
worked.
I'm
Yeah.
not saying it didn't work. I'm
Yeah.
saying it would have done him. He probably gained 2 steps where he could have gained 10 steps if he didn't
Oh.
have to walk it back.
I think it's a better situation. I think he gained probably
Oh.
6 steps when he could
Do you
have
think
gained 10.
because he was like cordial and like a gentleman,
This is just
but then he's also like,
Ashley's
"Hey."
an enigma. I don't know, because I could see her over analyzing that and being like, he did realize it when he was walking away that this was his opportunity, and I like that he took that opportunity. Like, she could spin it in her own head, which
She
does
will. That's
nothing
a good
for us,
point.
but it does
Great
a lot
point.
for her. Yeah. So if she
Great
spins it,
point.
she could look at it completely different. So I don't
So he
know.
came out of it.
She's an interesting cat.
He came out of it well then. All right. I think that we're going to see a lot there. Obviously, they kiss, like I said. So they're set up pretty well. You get scenes from the season. Shit does pop off. You see Ashley crying at one point. Did I make a mistake? There's no way that's about Wale. I wonder if she got a connection with Nicholas and was like, "I can't do it. I like Wale." I don't know.
I hope
But
not.
this season is shaping up to be extremely entertaining. These are the kinds of shows that we love mixed into the serious, quote unquote, serious stuff. It just makes it light and fun. So I am completely 100% sold on Love Hotel. It's great.
I am as well. Now let's get to some questions. We got a few of these in here. I know it just happened last night, so I didn't expect a lot, but we do have what looks like 5 questions here.
Oh, wow. You just put them up too.
I know. From Binanx, how many meltdowns do you think Shannon will have?
5, 4.
How many episodes?
Over
are
under
there?
4.
8?
Over under 4.
Over. I was
That's a
going to say
low
6.
over.
I was going to say 6. Yeah.
6 is the over.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take
Yeah.
even money.
All right. I like it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 6.
From Something About Podcast, do you think any of them will find love?
No.
It might be the name of the show, but it is not what's going to happen.
The only person here that could genuinely be looking for it is Shannon. The other 3 are here for fun, which I want. I want that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be baffled if Shannon walks away from this with a boyfriend.
Yeah.
If it goes anywhere, I don't know, but I
happening.
can see Shannon leaving this show with a love interest. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. From M Still Here, which housewife are we most excited to watch? I think Luann.
Fuck.
Anytime she graces our screen.
Yeah, I mean, Luann is just delightful to have anytime that we get to watch her do her thing again. But I don't know, dude. It's tough because they all bring such different things.
Yeah.
Like I love how Gizelle talks to men. I fucking love it because they can never formulate a thought. Like she just kind of stumps them the whole time. They're like,
Yeah.
and I love that. So I think Gizelle, and I also like the fact that she gets taken off guard sometimes where she's like caught off guard. She's like, oh, maybe I do like that guy. Like she just seems very authentic the way she goes about things. So Gizelle is for me, probably.
From Rybread1129, did it feel like Ashley was acting based off of what she's seen on The Bachelor? That's a funny way to put it. Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's what's great. If this was Potomac, I'd be like, fuck, knock it off. In this show, play it up. Lean in.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All about it.
And last one here from L Dub. This is 2 questions, but Thoughts on Earl the Pearl? I feel like we let our thoughts out there. Like him.
Yeah, Earl.
Yeah.
I'm down for Earl. I'm okay with Earl. I think Earl brings an interesting dynamic, and I think that again, I felt bad because I did what Shannon did. So
Yeah.
his bounce back from doing absolutely nothing but existing was tremendous. So yeah,
Correct.
big on Earl. He didn't do
The
anything
follow-up
wrong.
question is, are the white shoes that bad? And my answer is yes.
Yeah, no, they are.
Yeah,
They
they're
are
rough.
because here's why. Then we'll wrap this up. They're a statement, right? Which means that he put a lot of emphasis and thought into these shoes, and he also doesn't
Yep.
recognize that when people talk about the shoes, they're doing it in jest. So he leans further into the shoes. Yeah, and that says a lot about his fashion in general. You can kind of, I could probably predict some of the fits that he's going to walk out in. There's going to be a lot of unbuttoned shirts, a lot of probably too tight pants, and some like shiny materials. Is
Yeah,
kind of
I
what
can
I
see.
think.
Yeah, I could see all of that happening.
So
Yeah,
that's something you
but
got to deal with. It doesn't mean he's a bad guy. It just
he
means
could be
that
an absolute sweetheart, but his
but
fashion
that's his
sense is going to
fashion
be
sense.
crazy.
And you know, if you're gonna be down with Earl, you got to be down with the wacky shit.
You got to be down with the Pearl.
If you're gonna be with Earl, you got to be down with the Pearl, baby. I love this show. I'm so excited for this. I didn't think I was gonna be.
God.
I really
No.
didn't. Going into it, I'm like, fuck. And then I was like,
No,
wow.
it's a great breakup in between, and it's early in the week, so you can kind of just get your week started off on the right note, you know?
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. But we will be back for Love Hotel. We'll be back today. We got to record another episode. So you get a twofer on a Tuesday. How about that? You're welcome,
You saw
everybody.
that.
Well, you got anything else?
Nope.
No, that's our show. Bros gotta go.